shine on Happy Camper Life. We're loving, living, and learning online on Happy Camper Life.
Hi, I'm Allison Miller, and we are here at the Camp Shopping Channel, starting our segments on live shopping. So we are live here with Vittorio and Pierre from V-Skillz Action Sports, and I am really excited for everybody to meet these two amazing people. So welcome.
Thank you. We're glad to be here.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would love to learn or share, because I know already, your backgrounds and how you got into action sports.
But we are both born and bred in action sports. My background here, there's a few things that denote this. We are starting to organize a skateboard contest when I was not even 18. From then, I moved to California to work into the surfing industry. I spent a few years with the International Surfing Association, organized surfing events where I met Vito. We managed a big wave world tour with Vito. So we organized big wave surfing competition over the world. That was really exciting, and that kind of put us on track to work together. And now, more than 10 years later, we are partners. And we are excited to bring action sports to camp. We are working with many companies through the years, and we are using our network of people and company and trusted sources to bring this expertise to the camps.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I think one thing we could do is define what action sports mean. Because I don't think a lot of camps really understand what that means.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a little nebulous concept because every sport is action.
Right.
Golf has plenty of action in it. Action sport is mostly defined by the sport surrounding skateboarding, surfing, BMX. Wakeboarding is considered an action sport. Parkour is also an action sport, even if it doesn't use wheels. So there's not really one defined concept in action sport beside that the sport that originate and that share part of a culture with skateboarding and surfing, which are the action sport base.
Right, great. And then Vito, do you want to fill us in a little bit on your background as well?
Yeah, sure. My background also, I'm from Italy, obviously, and I'm living in California now. I came to the US right when we started the big wave tour with Pierre. I have a very different background as well, because I come from soccer as well. So I was playing university and college in Madrid. So we were a former national champion in Madrid, and then after that, I started to really dig into action sport, fell in love with surfing, and that we really like when I met Pierre, started to really work also with the media worldwide to create stories and compile stories about action sports athlete. And we had about, what was Pierre, about 5 to 6 years working directly with the action sport athletes together, and then we created V-Skillz as a to-go platform and media agency to help really companies to embed action sports within their DNA, and also help brands to position in different channels. And one thing that I really wanted to highlight is the fact that the reason why we're super excited to bring action sports to camp is the fact that we both became parents, right? And I think that people need to relate the fact that we're before we were professionals, before we were action sport athletes or even a passionate people, we and inside
You're cutting up, Vito.
of taking. Oh, sorry. Better now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. And so the benefit of having the kids experiencing this type of sports, and so one of the calling was really, we should really take this to more kids across the United States, and that was really one of the calling that we had. And then we find you guys happy camper, and so we're super excited about that. So.
Yeah, you beat me to it because I was just about to say that these are two really dedicated dads. Because in every conversation we have as we're planning all the great things we're bringing to the camps, there's soccer games, there's pickups from school, there's lots of things that, they're navigating because they are dads and they understand, things from a lot of different perspectives. And one of the things I found interesting is also, you said like you didn't really try some of these things until you were much older, like you were playing soccer and then you were introduced to surfing. And I wonder, what impact we're going to have when we're bringing all of these things to the kids at such a young age. And that's the excitement that I have for this because not a lot of camps have action sports as part of their programs right now, but you found ways to make this accessible for everybody.
Yeah, and that's really what they definitely have a few years on me, so they're gonna be much better than I'm gonna be. Starting at a young age, that's what you guys say, right? In the US, start them young. That's really one of the foundation of becoming such like also like I wouldn't call it successful. I'd like to have that feeling of making, like the relationship with fear, because it's much harder to do it when you're older. I had the chance to do it in a very specific environment, especially working with Pierre and Gary, which were people that were so deep into action sports that for me it was kind of like a master, like an accelerated master, an executive. And so I had to really understand that, but it changed completely my mindset. And I think that doing it at a young age, it can be such an advantage for kids because they're gonna have to deal with different situations that are joyful. They're definitely adrenalinic, but at the same time, they're gonna be challenged. They're gonna be challenged in the type of way to approach certain things, to approach like certain situations. It's very situational. Action sports is very situational, like every sport. But I think there's always the little component of am I gonna be able to do it or not? And I think that is gonna be really attractive for kids because they, especially how kids are, and they always challenge themselves. They want to be challenged. Usually it's us as parents that we're more afraid of certain things, so they want to jump into it and try to get things done. So I think that one of the reason really that can be beneficial and differentiator, like for the kids and their background, is how to deal with certain situation and how to dig into uncertainty, which is definitely going to shape their mindset in completely different ways too. Because I'm, part of my background, I also teach at San Diego State University, and I work with entrepreneurs, with young entrepreneurs. So I teach international entrepreneurship, and I see, like, I always tell my students, like, I can always say that surfing helps me to be a better entrepreneur because I deal with risk much better, and I can understand failure much better, and I can overcome failure much better. And that is not always the case with soccer or with other team sports or other things, So.
And these really are individual sports. I mean, there's a team aspect to the competitions. I know that skateboarding is now part of the Olympics, and so there is that team aspect. But really, what you are bringing to these camps, all of these different products that we'll talk about in a minute, there is a pace where a child can learn on their own without the pressure of what everybody else is doing or disappointing a teammate or things like that. And I find like those kind of activities in a camp are becoming more and more popular because they really help build the kids' self-esteem.
Yeah, the fact that it's self-taught, you can have a group of different kids with a little different level playing on the same space without feeling the competition. You are in a soccer team. If you are the lowest player in your team, you got to feel bad. In skateboarding, you can have a completely different level than the guy riding next to you, and you can both have a lot of fun and creating new tricks for your level. So this self-taught aspect of it make it really engaging for kids. They don't have to to feel the pressure of comparing to the next player in their team. And for camps is also allowed to have a bigger group of kids, a more diverse group of kids playing in the same environment without needing to have so many levels. Because if you have a really good soccer team playing against a bad soccer team, is not going to be fun for any other guys. If they end up winning 20-0, the losing team have no fun and the winning team didn't learn anything. In the same situation in a skate park, the lower kid will progress and the higher kids will progress as well, and encourage the kids with a lower level. So that's a big advantage of this type of individual sports, self-taught sports in a camp environment. It can make things way easier to manage.
And
Right.
Alison, can I make a point here because I think it's very relevant as well? I think that the individual side of action sport doesn't have to kind of distract us from one concept that I feel very, very important when we talk about action sports, which is community. And one thing that I noticed is that action sports have the power of creating great communities.
Mhm.
And because the kids share these challenges, the challenge always put everybody on the same level, because you're better than me, but you're individual, you're you against you. And this feeling make first of all, it makes also like the good kids become more mentors, where they can help most of the time the kids, and so that creates like a good community spirit. And that's really one of the key aspect of when we built the entire tour, or when we built entire brand strategic positioning in different things. We recognized how community got stronger and stronger because they were sharing this type of activities together.
Right. No, I definitely feel that sense of community in these different areas of camp that are much different than on a baseball, field and a basketball court. It's not taking anything away from those sports or those experiences, but it is a whole different sense of I like what you were saying. It's the mentoring. All of these like nice things sort of come out when you put the kids in this environment, and very naturally, organically come out. So I think that's important. And I think there's also a similarity between the skills that they develop through these sports, even though there's difference, like a difference in skateboarding or scootering or foiling, or we now have the
Balance
Balance
yeah,
board.
right. So we have all of these different things, but they all have similarities. You want to talk about sort of the common thread of what the kids will learn?
Yes, so the common thread is balance, core musculation, because all those sports, it's all based on balance. So it
Right.
works your abs, your dorsal, and all those little muscles that might not be used a lot in other things. All those are moving. So, and it taught resilience as well, because you fall a lot in those action sports and you get up and you keep on going. So, it does insert really good values to kids. And it's why it's really positive. And yes, there's this community because you are not opposed to another team. So you are all together instead of
Right.
being split in different teams facing each other. So then you are building this community. And I do think that resilience is, Vito talked earlier about entrepreneurship. Resilience is one of the things that action sport help to bring a lot in those kids. And I think that's a value that every single parent see a lot of importance into teaching kids. So resilience is probably the key things that action sport build. But the advantage also, action sport are also considered like bridge sports. Like if you have good balance, if you have good core musculation, it's going to help you in your soccer. If you
Right.
develop your creative mind in finding different tricks and being more open to different lines and different output, it's going to help you on a baseball team as well. It's going to help you in basketball. So it builds good body, and good mind as well.
And also, one of the things that we talk about is creativity, and that's a big factor too. So, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I took my daughter to a skate park the other day, and both of my kids are pretty beginner, but my daughter ended up bumping on a ledge, jumping on her belly, and sliding down on a ledge. It's a trick she created. She's not going to win Olympic gold in it. But 5 minutes later, my boy was doing the same thing, trying to land on his back instead on his front, and it was not as fun. So at every level, you can find this creativity. You will find kids in the skate park that are just having fun going down a ledge, sitting down on their boards. And no one is judging them for that. It's just you find the thing that you have fun with. And those kids that are sitting down on the skateboard, an hour later, going to be starting to stand up and learn this way. So that's definitely this creativity that attracts also some kids that don't want to do team sports, that might not be so athletic, but this creativity just help them get being engaged in a sport instead of just a craft activity. There's anytime you go in a skate event, there's activity painting your own board, doing fingerboard and things like that, because it's that also the separation perhaps with action sport and the other traditional sports. It's always embedded in a strong culture, and the culture incorporate music, incorporate design, art, and all that. There's not a specific football music, but there's definitely skate bands. There's plenty of musicians that are calling themselves skaters, that are calling themselves being part of a skate culture. And that, of course, related to what Vittorio said about community, is the fact that we are not really competing against each other. We are part of the same community. We are part of the same culture. So that also a really good thing for camp, because he also developed this. He developed creativity and resilience.
Yeah. And self-expression. So
It's definitely self-expression. There's thousands of tricks you can do in the skate park, but every day, particularly kids, they kind of invent tricks that are not really tricks for a big skater, but they are inventing something, and they are happy to have created something that was not a coach that asked them to do that drill. They just went out and they just rode and find their ways. So that's a beautiful thing to see. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, and I think, when I started Happy Camper Live, it was to help kids find their passion. That was really the root of what I was looking to do by exposing them to all different kinds of activities. And that's what I feel like we do at camp. And we do it really well. And it's something that I've always felt is my mission through Camp Shopping Channel, is to bring all of these great ideas to camps. It might be, a terrific fit for this camp. It may not be the right fit for that camp, but what we've worked together in finding some really good practical ways to bring these different programs into a camp environment. And I would love to just jump in a little bit, maybe start with Evolution Ramps, because I think that is just an incredible product, and it really allows a skateboard program, scooter, skateboard, to come into a camp in a very easy, low, maintenance kind of way.
So Evolution Ramp is an inflatable skateboard. He has an inflatable base that is built like a Zodiac bolt, so it can the opposite of an inflatable castle. It's super strong. It can handle cold, heat. You've seen those Zodiac boats in the Arctic. You see them in the Bahamas. They handle weather. They are strong. People go 100 miles out of sea on those boats because they know they are solid. So that's the base. On top of that, there's a hard top and a coping that seal everything. So in 20 minutes, you can get those ramps out of a van and flat it in any flat space that is grass or concrete and start skate programs. Those ramps are perfectly designed for intermediate to beginners. They are the absolute best to learn how to drop it from a ramp, which is when you stand on top of a coping and you drop down, which is something for a skater that is not easy to do. I did it back in the days, and now I don't know if I will be still able to drop in on a ramp.
On a ramp
Uh,
like this, definitely not. Like, you know.
yeah, it's amazing how when you stand on top of a ramp with your skateboard on under your feet, even a 3 feet ramp, it is impressive. And so those inflatable ramps are the perfect mean to learn to drop in. And of course, there are mini ramp, and like a lot of those obstacles and ramps, they can work really well for beginners, but pro skaters can spend hours and hours on there. Pro skaters can spend hours on a little curve on the street and just spend hours developing tricks on a tiny obstacle. So it's important that for us, for the camps, it's important that those obstacles and those ramps fit the beginners, but keep in mind that they always will fit also the better riders, because skaters can have fun about anything. And when we talk about creativity, we got young girls at a big skateboard women event that we worked on not too long ago that end up riding the back of a ramp, the inflator part of a ramp, and they all challenge themselves to do a drop in. Again, we'll have never thought about that, but that's where creativity come up. So particularly for camps, having a ramp that you can deploy in the summer, leave outside for the whole summer, withstand the abuse of riding all day long, and then folding it, putting it back in storage, making some deal with a local skate clinic or surf shop to deploy it for a special event sometime, do a promo for the camps at the local town event where you deploy the ramp and you show what the camper can learn. So that's a great tool for camps to have this flexibility, to have, you can transform a basketball court,
Right.
a blacktop in a school within 20 minutes because it becomes a place where you can skate.
And indoors too, because you have a rainy day at camp and you're trying to figure out how to entertain all of these kids. A lot of us have like indoor facilities and gyms. This is a great thing to bring inside. And the fact that you can deflate it and quickly set it back up, if it rains, you're not like canceling, the activity. You're able to transfer everything quickly, which I think makes a big difference too.
Yeah, we
Absolutely.
are living too long in California, so we don't think about rain. But indeed, it's perfect for that as well, where you can deflate it, move it away really easily, and reinflate it in a different place that is protected.
And to your point, we moved this in about 17 to 18 countries now, and most of those countries are northern countries that they really appreciate the ease of setup. They really appreciate the fact that they're weather resistance, but also like that you can store them away, that you can use them indoor and outdoor alike. So to your point, I think that is also a very good perk for the camps, and they can decide also to activate it at one certain time of the day and then leave that space for other activities the other time.
Right. So that's important too, because not all camps can give a dedicated space to an activity. Some are fortunate to be able to set up a skateboard park, and we're talking to many camps that are doing that with us, right? But sometimes it's just a matter of taking that basketball court, transforming it for an hour, and then letting the kids go back and play basketball. So one of the other things we did when we met, I was very much attracted to the ramps. Like we were just talking about evolution ramps and how do we bring this to camps. And I said, I think camps need sort of the full package. Like we need to source like what are the best skateboards for the kids? What are the best scooters? And then, of course, you guys know me well, it was like safety. Okay, what do we need for safety? So you went out and you did a lot of work for the camps. You scouted a lot of products, and I want to talk about that.
Yeah, so we have been in the industry forever. In some of our client and our work, we talk with retailers, we work with pro athletes. So we know the brands, we know the products, and we can call a few people and ask them for their advice on the solidity and the strengths of a brand versus another. So we know that for camp, the main point is your product has to last at least through one session of a summer. That means that it's all day long, 12 plus hours a day, perhaps in some cases, kids with no care in the world that go to abuse of all those products. And there's plenty of options. You can go to Target and Walmart and buy some really cheap products. I can guarantee you that none of those products you will buy in those mass market will last more than a couple of days in a camp setting. So our goal was to focus on brand that produce strong quality product that can last through the session. In skateboarding, we are working with HLC, which is the biggest manufacturer of skateboard in the world nowadays. They are branched out from a Spanish brand, so we are keeping our European connection, but they have a factory in Texas where they produce everything but the wheels. The trucks, the board, everything is made in Texas. In the current environment, that means that we have no fear of tariff, no fear of change. We know that that's bring, on top of the quality, it's also bring a stability in pricing. In scootering, I've been working in scootering heavily the past 10 years. It's easy to know that the brand ATIC is the stronger brand. It's used predominantly by guys doing street, which is the activity that has the most impact, and their complete has remained unchanged the past 4 to 5 years because they did achieve a strong product of quality. It's a mile away from the scooter you can buy at Target.
Right.
You won't have to fix the handlebar every 5 minutes. The bearing will hold and all this. In addition to selecting the right quality product for the use, we also in the package we design to simplify the work for camp, we have some spare parts. We know that the grips after a month, the grip just of natural usage, go to start sliding a little bit and being damaged. You need to replace the grip. So in the skateboard package, there's a roller grip that should last you through all the summers. We know that bearings and wheels are the first thing that will go away. So in the package, we are including a few extra bearings, a few extra wheels to make sure that you have a product that breaks during the camps. You don't need to stop the lesson and go find a product somewhere. You have some extra part, a replacement part to last through the summer. We didn't put trucks in replacement part. We didn't put deck because we judge at this level of camp that probably those parts will not break.
Right.
So that's a judgment enough part, and is based on an experience with skate coach, with skate retailers that know exactly that you buy 2 pair of wheels for 1 deck, you buy 2 decks for 1 pair of trucks. So we know exactly kind of a range of a use of those products, and we use this knowledge to design the pack. So the goal in those packs is the camp has those products at the beginning of the summer, and they can last the whole summer with just this.
Yeah, and I think what camps need to appreciate is the whole point in what we're doing is we're going out to the experts like you, and we're saying, look, if a camp wants to start a program, what is it that they need? What's going to last? And, what needs to be replaced during the summer? And you've done all that thinking for us. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do is take the thinking out of the process for the camp directors. You were talking about scooters. We were talking a lot about using Evolution Ramp for the skateboards, but it's also for scootering, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, and if there's roller skaters as well, they can ride the ramp. It's the same obstacle at the high level. When you design a park, you might design a park slightly differently for skater and scootering. But as for the ramp and most of the obstacle, they are the same. And you mentioned also safety, of course, action sports.
Yep.
Safety is always a concern. So we create also a safety package using S1, which is a brand I've been working with for more than 10 years now. S1 won a gold medal in skate last year, 2 years ago in Paris, with Ariso True winning gold with a helmet. Helmet is certified, multi-impact, speed up to 15 miles per hour. The main thing to understand about helmet safety is the helmet has to fit your head to be safe. If you have an oversized helmet, you're not going to maximize your safety. If you have too small of a helmet, the kid's going to have a headache after 5 minutes of riding and not enjoy your session. The advantage of a S1 helmet is they have a liner system where you can just take out a liner, put a different liner. They are color coded, so we know that the red is small, the tan is medium, and we can adjust the size. In our package, we are doing I think it's 4 small, 4 medium, 4 large, but we are giving all the camps some extra of those liners. So for the kids that have a really small head, for the kids that have a really big head, the instructor can just quickly swap out the liners. You can also wash the liners in between use. So there's a lot of advantage to use this liner system. The main one is you need a helmet that fits the rider head. There's almost no point to have a helmet that is too loose on your head. So that helps you tune in any helmet. You can go from extra small for 3 times extra large with the same helmets. So that's a great point for safety. And I think camps will really enjoy being able, with one set of helmet, being able to fit about any kids that come through the camp.
Yeah, that is
Alison,
really practical. Really practical.
and to your point before, I think, the whole idea behind the package and what we created, it was the great synergy that we had with you guys. You guys, Happy Camper, had like all the expertise about camping. So we, even if we wanted to go to provide this solution to camps, we didn't know exactly what camps needed. And I think the synergy in between the expertise of V-Skillz and understanding the product, understanding the experience, and understanding what is really needed to have and maximize that experience for that sports or activity in particular is going to merge with all that knowledge of years and years of understanding of how camp works. And so we created a package that is basically a no-brainer package where there is just a solution, is a plug-in solution for camps start doing action sports. And that's really what the focus was like try to create something simple for directors to say, oh, that's a great idea. I don't even know where to start. Let's do this. And there's always this synergy and this collaboration with you guys that makes it very, very attractive, I think, for directors in that sense.
Yeah. And it comes with me prodding more and more. And so the next thing we just talk about is the padding, because I know that's an important part to the package too.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so the package comes with a helmet, but also elbow pads and knee pads and wrist guards.
Right.
For me, as a former skater, let's say the helmet is mandatory. Kids shouldn't step on a skateboard, shouldn't step on anything with wheels without a helmet. The paddings, I think it's are great in a camp setting. Then it's going to depend. Some rider will not want to wear them or will be more resistant to wear them. The helmet has to be mandatory. The paddings is kind of depend on the level, where the guy at a higher level will not want to wear paddings. But the kids, of course, is really great to enforce padding on the kids. I let my kids choose. Sometimes they will pads, sometimes they won't. As far as helmet, they have no choice. We do.
But you're lucky. You're lucky
on a skateboard without a helmet.
Yeah. I think for us, for safety from a camp perspective, I always recommend what is, what should be required, and that's why it's in the package. So we do hope that people will use what's there, because there's a reason for that. And I think the number of we talked a lot about like size, program size, how many kids are going to come, and everything is very intentional. Like looking at a period of 50 minutes of sending 12 kids, and you could even send more. They're going to rotate, taking turns. You could put 24 kids in a period, or even more depending on how many instructors you have and how you want to run the program. But you will be set up fully, with the package we put together.
Yeah, our package are based on a number of 12 because usually you have 12 students for an instructor is a really good ratio. And to your point, depending on the size of a skate park, you can section the skate park and have 3, 4, 5 groups on the same skate park. Some working on the rail, some working on the mini ramp, some working on the ledge or something like that. So there is possibility to run, if you have enough instructor, to run different programs on the same space.
Right. Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit about the balance boards because we just added them to our site and we're really, really excited. And I think it's something that all camps could incorporate, whether or not they choose to have a full skateboard or scooter program. So I was hoping that maybe you could talk a little bit about Indo Boards.
Oh, yes, I'm a Indo Board user for probably more than 25 years, and I use it to recover when I got injuries, to build my physique when I wanted to charge harder on surf. Um, and it's definitely not a product that is limited to action sports. We talked earlier about balance and core musculature. That's what a balance board does. So if a balance board started as a product for surfer to train and warm up and build their muscle to go surfing, for skater to do the same, in now expanding to gym use, and there's a lot of gym that will have a balance board. I did it myself. You can do push-ups, you can do one leg squats on it, and you will work all your abs, all those little muscle. Because you're on a moving platform, you don't have just your main group of muscle working. You have all the little side muscle that need to adjust to the movement. So that's definitely a product. Even if it's a product that come to action sport, it's a product that transcends to all the activities. Whether you are
Right.
golfing, playing football, or any sport, you can benefit from a warm-up, a training, a recovery session on a balance board for
Yeah, I
sure.
Yeah,
was
and
thinking.
talking,
Mhm.
sorry about that.
Mhm.
I just wanted to say something that I think is very relevant as well, because talking about balance and, we can talk and we can guess or we can say based on our experience, but this is much more like balance and movement in general is really like neuroscience based. And there's a ton of research out there that can tell you exactly that attention, things like, and I'm reading right now, like emotional regulation, reading and learning readiness, like
Mm.
all those are directly connected to balance and like how the neural system and integration of different skills as well and the skill set integrates within the neuroscience system. That's what they it's backed by science. It's all related to balance. And so balance is really like, and I'm just citing here some of the research just
Mhm.
because I was super interested myself to understand like how really that impacts
Yeah.
the neuro activity of kids. And I think that's one of the bases and the basic of actually neuroactivity development. So we can probably put in the comments later for people to look at some of the findings and the research based, so they can look how balance is important to really.
That is really interesting. And I like the sort of regulation part of it too, especially at camp where kids, are really struggling with those things. And I feel like, yeah, it just made me think of being able to set up an area where I feel like these boards can be their own activity. I love the carpets that go along with it, where you could set it up so that everybody has their own board. I could see it in my fitness center. I could see it in gymnastics. Like we have a huge gymnastics program, dance program, cheerleading, all of those areas as well, where we have all this other equipment, but we don't really have that kind of equipment in there. So I'm really excited to be adding that package. And the other thing I'm excited about, and this wouldn't necessarily apply to every camp, but some of us do have water ski wakeboard programs, and we have a foiling package. So I definitely want to talk about that because some people don't. And I will admit that I did not know what it was, although I asked my team and my son and my daughter, and they all have been foiling, but I wasn't really sure what that was. So let's share that because this is like a new exciting thing you could bring to your camp's water ski program.
Yeah, you can. Just one last thing on the Indo board, it's also fun.
Oh,
It's just naturally fun.
It
It's
is
just like that you are a beginner or that you have been practicing. It's just fun
easy
to
to
climb
progress
on and
to.
balance.
Yeah.
It just talk about creativity. So you put a balance board in a corner. I guarantee you within 10 minutes, you have 10 kids that are fighting to get on it. For
I
sure.
love it. Of course, it's fun. We wouldn't have anything here on the Game Shopping channel in our programming
That's
area if
true.
it's not going to be fun. But yes, I'm excited to see because I'm definitely going to have them at my camp this summer. And we're going to be at Tri-State camping conference, and we're going to have some for people to check out. So if you don't know what it is, you're going to know soon enough.
So about falling now, falling, it's kind of a new concept. Is just a fin that is different than the fin that we have been using in wakeboarding and in surfing and in boating. It's a thing that a fin that has a wing underwater that allow the board that you are riding to lift up the water. So only the wing that is at the bottom of your thing is in the water, and you are basically levitating on top of the water. You can do foiling like you do wakeboarding behind a boat. You can do it surfing where people paddle into a wave, and once they get some speed, you will see they go from a regular surfing where the board is in the water, the board will start lifting up and only the tip of the fin stays in the water, so you are flying above the water.
Wow.
In the package we created, it's a progressive package where you can use the foiling to start behind a boat, like you do your wakeboarding class. The only difference is instead of being a wakeboard, it's a foil board, so similar to a wakeboard, but with a big fin. And when the guys start to be tracked behind the boat, the board will elevate, and then you can turn with just the fin touching. So we talk about freedom, we talk about creativity. I haven't personally tried falling yet, but I cannot imagine. I'm just really excited to try it surfing because levitating above the water must be like a sensation that is just incredible. And we see the popularity it quickly gain. You can also do it with a wing, so kind
Yes.
of like a windsurfer, but just with a wing you hold in your hand, and same principle. As soon as the wind catch your wing, you gain some speed and you elevate. So it's appealing to people that are doing wakeboarding and water skiing. It's appealing to people that do sailing, windsurfing and this type, because you can also, it's kind of the same principle. You use the
Right.
wind as speed, and you can also do it on flat water with some exercise. And the package include the fall scoot, which is a board with a handlebar that help you to start from a dock where you can run on the dock, put the board on the water, and start pumping with your own speed and generate enough speed on a lake to be able to ride and make some turn above the water by just pumping. And so pumping is like you use your own weight up and down to create a movement, to create some speed. It's the same principle that we do in tic-tac in skateboarding. And with lesson 2 of skateboarding is this pumping, using your weight to gain some speed. So the advantage of this falling package is can be attractive to 3 completely different group of activity: the boating activities, the sailing activities, and just the lake, river better not. You need at least a place that is at least 4 feet deep,
Right.
because of course you have a big part of a thing that is underwater. So that's kind of the only restriction. If not, any flat water is open to do foiling. So it's adding a really attractive and a completely new sensation to those
Right.
already existing sports. So we are really exciting to bring this foiling package. And same thing, the people that we are work with our partners are people that do lessons, that do YouTube influencing with how-to videos. So we have also access to a lot of people that can come to camp and help your instructor become fluent in foiling as well.
Yeah. It's it's really exciting. And I think as you know, we started this partnership. I feel like it's only going to continue to grow in this action sports area. You guys are on the lookout all the time for new products that camps can bring into their programs to continue to, exciting new, and ways to challenge the kids more. These are things that, you're out in California. I happen to be down in Florida. We see these things, frequently, but like kids that are in the Midwest and other areas, they're not necessarily seeing a lot of the products that you're bringing to us. And I think that, it's really fun to be able to make these, some are larger investments, some are smaller investments. Indo Board, it's not a huge investment for the summer, but there's like different ways that you can improve your program and add Indo. I'm going to say it right because I'm not saying it right. So say it's Indo Board.
Indo Board.
Indo
Indo
Board.
Indo.
Yeah, Indo Board.
Yeah.
Indo Board. Okay.
So it came out from a surfer that stressed out before going on a trip to Indonesia, which has the longest wave, and wanted to build his physique for a surf trip.
Got
So
it.
that's how it started. So it's Indo Board is the board to prepare you to your surf trip to Indonesia.
Got
Where
it.
wave that's so long that you get tired after 5 minutes of riding because you just so long and we're not used to surf for so long. So that's where the Indo Board name came up.
Got it. Great. Well, I think we've covered, a lot of the things we're offering for 2026. And I'm sure for summer 2027, we'll have a lot more things that we're going to be talking about, as I said, as we continue to grow and to explore the world of action sports with you. Is there anything else that you want to cover before we're done with our podcast here?
No, I think the only one thing that I wanted to add is the fact that directors and camp directors, please reach out. If you have any questions or any doubt about how to add this package, if it makes sense and how to actually make it work, and like if you have any question about not just the product but really like the activities and what would you like, what's your vision, we're here. And with the Happy Camper, obviously, we are partnering because we understand how important it is to create something innovative all the time for the kids and something new for the camp and the campers to experience. So we are your partner in like consider us as partner in actually bringing this activity to you. It's not just about packages or products, but also about the actual experience that we can bring together.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that camps are typically concerned about is their staff and their ability to teach these activities. And I think based on some of the conversations we've had, you'd be I don't think you would have trouble finding somebody in your staff that's had some of these experiences, or at least some passion for it. And you guys have a lot of resources to help train the staff to understand these products, how they're used, the safety requirements, and all of that as well. So we're not talking about like, check out and get your stuff and you're out there on your own trying to figure this out. Like, we really want to make sure that you have the right support to help your kids have the most successful experiences with these new action sports.
Yeah, we definitely see ourselves as partners of action sports growth in camps. So we want to work with camp on a long-term basis to provide their need and to support them where they need. One of the things to add as well is we can offer demos as well, because we work with so many pro athletes, that if a camps want to do a demo with professional athletes, want to do a special week or a special day with some pro skateboarders or scoot rider, that's definitely something that we can organize as well.
Yes, for sure. And your contacts are all over the world, actually, not just in the United States. You have
Definitely not. Yeah.
amazing connections to incredible people. So yeah, well, I want to thank you for being here on the Camp Shopping Channel's live shopping podcast here today. So, and I'm looking forward to continuing to bring these great products out to the camp. So thank you very much, Pierre and
Thank you.
Vito. It's been great talking
Thank
to
you,
both
guys.
of you.
Thank you. Been an honor.
Thank you. It's
Thank
funny now how we see products in a completely different way, because now we start seeing products in a camp setting. So that's helped us tuning our offer as well, because we are added this vision to just action sports. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, so fun, so fun.
Thank you.
Take a moment to shine